Greetings. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt, a joyous rising, great rising, a grand rising. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning. I am so happy to see so many people here waiting for us. Happy 13. Today is December the 13th, 2023, and the time is 12:18 p.m. We had a few technical difficulties, but praise be to Source, to the Most High. Everything is working out okay. Today on Wellness Wednesday, I have such a special guest. I am honored. I am elated to have such a wonderful gentleman. He studied under the late, great Dr. Delbert Blair, but he is a true great man, an herbalist, metaphysician, alchemist, just overall fantastic human being on his own accord and in his own right. So if you'll just allow me, I will introduce Tony Vortex. I want to read his bio, but before I read the bio, Tony, please say hello to the family.
Greetings, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well within your space and time.
All right. I see people checking in, Tony. So I'm going to introduce you and then I'm going to, let people say things to you. Let me see.
Okay.
Because they want to say hello. Let's see. So, you don't need you guys don't need to see the bio. I don't know why I did that. Hold on. I'll stop sharing that. I'm going to read Tony's bio. So, did you all know that Tony Vortex is a documented clinical herbalist? He is a scholar, an engineer, and so much more. I call him a metaphysician as well as an alchemist and an herbalist too. At the age of 11, he began to study plant life and their healing mechanisms, as it bothered him deeply to see so many of his older family members become needlessly sick. This is why Tony was one of the very few people that Dr. Delbert Blair personally counted on to bounce his ideas off of and to keep him here in the physical realm or in the flesh as long as possible. One of his latest public projects was collecting data from space. Yes, literally space, family. Atmospheric balloons were sent up into the mid-stratosphere 30 to 35 miles above us in Illinois. Illinois launch was July 31st, 2021, and the Georgia launch was on September 25th, 2021. Also, Tony has been personally cooking food in his own kitchen and serving to the homeless of Chicago for almost 20 years. That's 2 full decades. But this is nothing new to those who know him. Over the last few years, others have even come out to assist in serving food and preparing meals for the homeless. And of course, you all play such an integral part in all of the services that he gives to humanity. And he continues to give patronage to those who have helped him, and he blesses you for helping him and giving patronage to him. You all are with us, he says, at each meal and as each meal is served and when every syllable is spoken. In addition to serving food to the homeless, Tony has on many occasions supplied computer, technology assistance, and such to children and teenagers with no access to the basics of technology, and they were unable to do their schoolwork. Tony is very passionate about helping others. This has been one of his top values since he was a small child. Still, on a daily basis, you can see this value reflected in the great work that he does for humanity. He serves quietly as a very humble human being, without pictures taken, and never seeks to receive accolades. Tony serves with all of his heart because it is the correct thing to do, he says, and as such, he will continue to do it as long as the Creator has him on this planet. He will do as is needed, he says, balancing and bringing light to one's eternal or internal world so one may share the shine of their uniqueness in the eternal is his mantra, a micro reflection of the macro, or as above, so below, and so it is. Welcome, Tony Vortex. Hello, darling.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor. Mm-hmm.
Pleasure is all mine. You know, Tony, I was listening to Dr. Delbert Blair, some of his speeches. And one of the things that he says, and I was up all night, and I've been up all night for the last few days, listening to him say that he trusted you with his work. He wanted to pass it over to his son. One of his videos said, but I think his son must have passed on. And he said, you know, unfortunately, my son didn't listen. I don't know what he was talking about, but he said, you know, you've been with me, you've helped me, and you are the one that I'm turning this work over to you, too. Is that correct?
That is correct.
It's amazing. And you were with him as we were speaking in private when he transitioned, yes?
That is correct as well.
Right. And you helped to serve him while he was sick?
Yeah. I was with him every day, taking him to go get his cake. He enjoyed cake. So even though I had to tell him he shouldn't be having that, but, you know, he's an elder. So,
Yeah.
you know, he can have his joys, you know.
Yeah.
And so, I was with Dr. Delbert Blair practically every day for almost a decade.
Almost a decade. Tony, you know, I talk about raising your vibrations. And at the end of every podcast, I say, my name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I hope I've said something to raise your vibrations and cause you to and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. And so people have been asking me, how do you raise your vibrations? Why are you always full of joy? You know, you talk about ascending in consciousness. What are you doing? And I have to give you praise and the late, great Dr. Delbert Blair, because I started taking supplements. You sent me vitamins not too long ago for, you know, women's health. This is Wednesday wellness. So I'll talk about that. And I've been taking Monoatomic Gold for some time now. So I found that those are just a few things that help me to raise my vibrations. So I just now I'm going to stop talking and see what you have to say about that.
Okay. All right. So, of course, you know, she gave me, you know, a lot of those accolades there, but it is the Meta Center itself. We are here in Oakland. We're down the street from our original location with Dr. Delbert Blair. And it is a collective effort. All right. I would not be here without the community's support and all the things that we do. Okay. So when it comes to raising your vibration, I break it down into 3 areas. Okay. Your spirituality, your mentality, and your physicality. Okay. And ideally, if all of those 3 are operating properly, then your, what I call your internal vortex, is spinning the way it should. And the more your internal vortex powers up, the more life you can say springs forth from you. Okay. So when it comes to your physicality, exercising, the proper diet for you, okay, because the proper diet for you may not be the proper diet for me. All right. And so proper diet for you, exercise, diet, and taking certain types of supplementation. Okay. Everybody loves the Monoatomic Gold. Dr. Blair was doing that back 40 something years ago. Okay. Let's think about it, right? A lot of people trying to come on the scene now, but 40, 50 something years ago, talking about Monoatomic Gold. Yeah, that was something that was way out in the future. Okay. So we still have the gold. We even have a more of a concentrated version now called the Gold Concentrate. It's very purplish color. But we have so many supplements that can help one's physicality get to where it needs to be so that they can feel and be full of energy, right? And then it comes to the mentality. It's unfortunate. A lot of people, due to what we know took place over the last few years, are dealing with a mountain of stress. All right. Things were actually stressful before that, but that took some people over. And so one's mental health has to be in alignment and balanced, okay, with the way a human should be. Okay. Humans are fantastic beings. They are multifaceted. We are emotional beings. And we require certain types of input and output for us to operate at our best. Okay. Mountains of stress, not taking care of our wellness. An example of this would be sometimes we want to go on vacation, but when we go on vacation, instead of actually partaking in wellness activities that actually relax us, we're jumping from one location to the next, going here, going there, and that's not relaxation. So we end up coming back home let's say if you have a career field you're doing very well in, but you come back home actually more tired than before you left, right? And so
Absolutely.
you're actually not uh, energizing yourself, right? And this is why a lot of people in these various career fields, over time, you see them look like they're decaying almost.
Mm.
Okay, because the career field, even itself, even if you enjoy what you're doing, what is giving back to you is not fulfilling your internal vortex. You fulfilling you as a human. Okay, it's not
Okay.
giving back to you in that way, even if you're making substantial amounts of money. So, because money is not everything. All right,
Mm.
so that's your mentality. Okay, and then it comes to your spirituality. All right, so spiritual practices which truly nourish the soul.
Mhm.
I don't talk about spirituality a lot just because, that's a kind of a triggering point, like politics for some
Yeah.
people. You get
Yes.
what I'm saying? But um, I would just say that it's not all about giving your energy to something else externally from you. All right. And so, because you're giving away the energy that's utilized from your internal vortex, which keeps you youthful, which keeps you healthy, and so on and so forth. So, um, what we've been doing, Dr. Blair ascended, transitioned in 2016. All right. And so um, it took us kind of a while to find our footing a little bit
Mhm.
because, of course, obviously what took place. So, but from that point till now, we've been focusing on just that aspect of humans, right? Trying to get humanity to understand that they actually have a massive power that's within them,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And as Dr. Blair would say, the Draconians don't allow the Draconians or the alien influence to negate the fact that you are extremely powerful. All right. And so we've been focusing on actual techniques and solutions for the human to become as powerful as possible. We called it the superhuman classes. And that went on from pretty much 2016 to 2021.
Mm.
Okay. And so where each time we went over in detail how to power up in different ways.
Mm. When you speak of the internal vortex, is that what some people will call the soul?
Well, that's what power, well, yes, in short,
Okay.
yes. Okay. And there's ways to power the soul, or what I would call the soul engine. Okay.
Mm.
Because it's something that it's not just something that, okay. So those who have a soul, that energy that springs forth from that energy center, okay, it can be increased or it can be decreased just
Mm.
by ways of life and so on and so forth. And you can tell one who is actually increasing, besides what one may say. There are very good orators out there who may say all kinds of things and woo you with words, but look at their skin. Okay,
Mm.
look at the quality of the way their eyes look, their skin, their lips. Are they sick all the time, and so on and so forth? These are easy tales to really see if their internal vortex is actually spinning, at
Mm.
least when it comes to the physicality, the way that it needs to spin, okay, to produce that type of, again, without putting up a bunch of, doing a bunch of external things to make one look a certain way.
You know, one of the things you talked about was the monoatomic gold. And
Mhm.
as I begin to talk about it with our audience, a lot of people have expressed interest, especially when I tell them that, and I learned this from the Meta Center actually years ago, that monoatomic gold is the manna that the children of Israel ate when they were coming out of slavery out of Egypt. It was the manna that fell from the sky. They say that it means, what is it? And that's what, they say the creator allowed to fall to sustain them. It is also the supplement that they say the ancient pharaohs took in order to keep them closer to God and to live longer. So people are really interested in the monoatomic. And I wanted to ask you, like, is this real gold? Because when I take it, especially at the height of when I was taking it, and I need to get more from you because I had switched from your product to the other and I don't have the same results. That's one of the reasons
Mhm.
why I called you. But
Mhm.
at the height of me taking it, my skin would literally glow.
Mhm.
Um, I had certain things my body was dealing with, like fungus on my nails. It went away immediately. And my
Mhm.
mother, this is what made me say, I got to call Tony. My mother said, I don't even recognize my own daughter when you're taking that. She said, you're glowing, and there's something about you that's a field around you that I could literally see. And my mother's not even into this type of, thing. So what are your thoughts about the monoatomics and the colloidals?
Absolutely fantastic products. And so the monoatomics is giving the person trace minerals, all right? And here's real gold. If you give me a second, I'll grab one. You may be able to see the
Okay.
gold on the camera. All right, one moment.
Okay. Okay. While you're doing that, I'm going to acknowledge our family members.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, Albert. Albert says, Grand Rising, my queen. All the information that you gave was amazing. I can now see the algorithm. I have different ways of thinking now and looking at life. Peace and freedom and helping one another is the key. Thank you. Hi, Mark. Mark says, yay, I'm excited to share this on my birthday, listening to the show. I am 34 years old today. I love you, Dr. Kia. I love you too, Mark. Happy birthday. Ancient, the architect says, yes, Tony Vortex is here. He's on fire. Let's see. Kristen says, today is my birthday. So happy to be sharing and listening to Dr. Kia Pruitt. I love you, and Tony Vortex. Immaculate Green, thank you. Immaculate Green says, good afternoon, Dr. Pruitt. Good afternoon. Saint the God is here representing. Jeffrey Short says, thank you, Dr. Kia. Silver, here I come. Yes. We're going to take it and we're going to invest in it because we know what's going on behind the scenes with currency. We're going to mention that with Tony too, to ask him if there's a correlation between the colloidal silver and monoatomic silver and gold and the currency, or I should say the money, lawful money, silver and gold. Let's see. Who else? Roselle is here, says, hi, y'all. Welcome to the chat. Hi, Immaculate Green. Hi, everyone. Janice and Eric says they're excited to be here. Great day. This should be interesting. That's right. More conscious. You all send in your questions as well, because as long as he's able to, I'll ask him to address those questions. I've been on first. You've been on first, Roselle. Thank you. Hi, Janice. Anthony's been waiting since yesterday. I don't know if you were first. He was waiting yesterday. I remember, Anthony. I saw you. Hey, my darling. All right, family. It's so good to see you. Everybody's checking in. I will get to our Rumble family in a few minutes. I want to give Tony all the time he needs to speak.
All right. So shout out to everybody. It's most definitely, that brings a smile to me. So, okay. So there, you mentioned, I heard you saying something about silver.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm gonna go over a few things here for the family. So this is the gold powder here. Okay. Yeah, kind of center it on camera.
There it is.
Okay. So that's the gold powder, and it's 1 ounce.
Okay.
I'm trying to center so you can maybe see the
there it is right there. A little. Yes, that's right there. Perfect.
So I'm not sure if you see the gold particles even blinging.
I could just see. I see something blinging. Yes, it almost looked like diamonds. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So that is 100% real gold. Okay, that's in the product. So not only getting trace minerals, you're getting gold as well. It's over 66 trace minerals that you're receiving, and that list is on the website. Okay. So that's gold there. Here's the gold concentrate. Here is 15 grams worth. This is a stronger version of the gold powder.
It's actually gold. Is it gold? Let me see.
It's purple. It's a purplish color.
Okay.
And so this is the concentrated version. So I would say for most people, the regular gold powder is fine, but for the connoisseur, this is the concentrate there.
Okay.
And then of course, the colloidals are the stable metal by itself, unless it's a combination formula. So for example, let me start off with, okay, just 1 second.
Here's the one that I have. It's purple and it's good, but this one here, it's not as good as the one that I was taking with Tony. I was taking the powder with Tony, and the way I take the monoatomic gold is I place it underneath my tongue, and I just let it melt, and and then I'll drink just a little bit of water after that. But I make sure it goes. I hope he's coming. He's coming back. I don't know what happened. So I place it on my tongue. I let it go absorb through the blood vessels, and then I'll drink a little water. And You're back. Good.
And
And I
this,
also I
Mhm.
also was taking, I'll ask Tony about this too, not only the monoatomics, but colloidal, gold and silver. And I took it during the shutdown in 2020 because
Mhm.
it addresses those ailments. Now, I can't really go into details about what happened in 2020. That sickness, you all know what that was. And we'll ask
Mhm.
Tony his idea about how that addresses those type of illness.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, sorry about that, y'all. So, okay, so let's go here. We have so many. Just so you all know, we have over 120 herbs on the website. This is not including the colloidals or anything like that. All right. So these 120 herbs cover every major system. Okay, so you're talking about
Mhm.
Ayurveda, which is India, traditional Chinese medicine, which is the Far East herbs, and of course
Mhm.
we have Western herbs as well. So we cover over 120 herbs with that, and then we have the colloidals, right? So
Mhm.
let's backtrack a little bit when we talk about the gold.
Yes.
Most people take gold to for focus, for
Mhm.
dreaming, to enhance their creativity. Okay.
Mhm.
And what
Mhm.
it's doing, the mechanisms are pretty much feeding the brain and pineal gland. Okay. That's what
Mhm.
people have always suspected the gold is doing directly
Yes.
versus other products out there. All right.
Okay.
So when it comes to colloidals, you're getting the base metal again. This is a combination formula, which we have many here. So this is the colloidal gold. Okay. This is overall boosting the vibration
Mm.
of the body overall. Okay,
Okay.
that's what you'll take this for. All
Okay.
right. Then there's of course the colloidal silver. All right. Silver has been used to clean surfaces from. It's like an antibacterial agent, antiviral agent. So some
Mm.
people take this internally as well, and many took this during those issues that happened a few years ago,
Yes, sir.
amongst other products as well. And they're still here. They never caught the anti-human virus. Okay.
Mm. Mhm.
Um, some of the other ones here is copper, colloidal copper. Okay,
Mm.
colloidal copper is suggested and has been utilized to for skin health, skin, nails, hair health, and so forth. Okay, it is
Okay.
a vital nutrient for the body. Then there's platinum. This platinum has
Mm.
colloidal platinum, but it has gold and iridium in it
Okay.
as well, and that's for brain and neuron health.
Wow.
And there's another one, last one here, is the colloidal combination formula. And this is gold, copper, and silver together. Oh,
Mm.
and
Wow.
so again, we have so many products that can help one depending upon what one's trying to do, whether it's to enhance themselves or is whether there's a challenge going on.
Yes.
We have a lot of testing equipment here as well to help test and to help one grow from most challenges people experience as a human. All right.
Mm.
So whatever,
Mhm.
again, dealing with the those three that I named:
Mhm.
physicality, mentality, or spirituality issues.
Can you take them together, Tony?
Yes and no. It's not about taking all of it. Some people say, "Oh, those are wonderful. I want to take them all." No, I will not take them all at the same
Okay.
time. Okay, but if there's, we're a phone call away, right? So if
Okay.
someone says, "Well, there are some of these that can be taken together, but I would
Mm.
not take them all at the same time."
Okay. Okay. So we talked about the monoatomics, and these briefly. I just want to read off what we said. We would talk about wellness, supplementation, raising vibrations, aliens, history, the power of humanity, and manifestation,
Mhm.
among other things. So, where should we go from here?
Let's let your audience choose.
Okay, family, what would you like to hear? Wellness, more about supplementation, manifestation, or how to manifest or bring things into your reality, raising vibrations, aliens or ETs, history. You want to talk about the history of humanity, the power of humanity, or any other subject that you can think of as it relates to wholeness, wellness, and high vibrations. Let's see. The goddess Dinah says that she ordered from the Meta Center and the products. Oh, she started 5 years ago and there were great products. Absolutely.
I appreciate you, sister. Hmm.
And who else? Wholeness, balance, vibrations. Thank you, Inez. Good morning. This is a great to know. I love my herbs and drink them quite often weekly to stay in optimal health. Awesome. Somebody wants to talk about balance, vibration, power of humanity. So, power of humanity, manifestation, Brother Tony, and raising vibrations.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So let's talk about let's start with the power of humanity first. All right.
Okay.
So I'm leaving it to you to keep me on task here, Kia. Okay. Just
Okay.
get you right there. So, all right. So, when it comes to humanity, uh, right now, for a lot of people of humanity itself, things seem a bit tumultuous, right?
Mhm.
Stressful. Seems to be a lot going on. Humanity seems to be bombarded
Mhm.
from, and these are kind of like different viruses, you can say, right? Not only the physical viruses from medical trauma that people know of, but also the environmental issues, right?
Mhm.
Those that deals with like the geoengineering programs and so on and so forth, the spraying in the skies. Whether it come to the social viruses infect all these things can affect a human and allow and make a human stress out in some form or fashion. Okay, so you have the social viruses. Social viruses are more so those topics of conversation that either bring stress for just for no reason at all, or can cause a human stress because of how ridiculous it is. Okay,
Mhm.
so we can talk about social, environmental, the physical, the spiritual viruses, which are those spiritual topics that are not actually feeding our internal vortex. Okay, these spiritual topics are topics that actually lead us away from source. Okay, versus
Mhm.
bringing us closer to source. Okay, and so one could say, wow, that's a lot of things. And of course, there's more, but those are a lot of challenges that are facing humanity. How can we survive when we're people go into that area? But this actually shows actually how powerful you are as a human.
Hmm.
Okay, and I'm saying like that purposely, right?
Okay.
So the draconians and anti-human and alien factions, right? They are deploying all of these techniques, again, food, water, okay, contaminating both of those, right? Air, making the living situations very stressful, um, being very contradictory in just life itself, right? They're
Yeah.
doing all of this to try to break you down because that is actually how powerful you are. It takes all of this to take
Mhm.
place. Okay. It
Okay.
takes all of this to take place all at the same time, all pushing down on you just to try to get you to break.
Mm.
And many are not breaking. Many are actually what
Yeah.
it initially did that they did not, the draconic orders did not actually realize is that it actually woke a lot of people up. See, they expected you to break.
Mm. Mm.
During the whole issue over the last few years, okay, they expected you to break. They expected you to cry, pretty much cry to daddy and say, I'm sorry. And I would do whatever you ask me to do, Draconian.
Mm.
Anything you ask me to do, I'll do. Okay. And even though some of our brothers and sisters did fall to that, many more did not. Okay. Many more seen it for what it is. And in fact, again, that stress, as they said, stress could do two things, right? Pressure could do two things. It can
Mm.
either make a diamond or
Okay.
bust a pipe.
Mm.
Okay. In this case, for the majority of people, in some form or fashion, either start the process of creating a diamond or it did create a diamond in this process. And so all around the world, you see people waking up. You see people. Uh, they may have not spoke to their neighbors before. They didn't care to do that. Now they're speaking to the neighbors. Now they're figuring out ways to be more self-sufficient from the
Absolutely.
anti-human system itself. Okay. And I mentioned anti-human for a reason, right? I keep mentioning that, right?
And you
So
keep mentioning draconians
they're
too.
draconians for a reason. Okay.
Okay.
Most of these systems around us are either controlled by literally an alien consciousness
Mm.
or so let's just start there. An alien consciousness. Why am I saying an alien consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Or an alien themselves, right? But we're not talking about necessarily little green, gray entities walking around, right?
Okay.
Regardless of one thinks that's real or not, it's more so the mindset, right?
Mm.
Alien, we're talking about foreign, okay? A foreign
Oh.
entity. So even if we say aliens are crossing the border, what they're talking about is a foreign people, right? In this case, when we talk about aliens, we're talking about a foreign consciousness. Okay? What does a foreign consciousness do? Okay, it allows, for example, now this person's supposedly a human like you are. They get a job and they start to get infected with this social or the social virus or whatever company or job they work with. And now, instead of realizing that putting this factory on this land is going to poison, millions of people's water supplies, right? Because what human would actually do that?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
you can say humans in their right mind don't do things like that. Okay, and now in the span of what a human can be, let's say here, because camera's kind of weird. Okay, so what humans can be, right? The range of human, good, evil, whatever we want to call it, it can range, and humans can be evil, right? But then it goes, there's way over here and there's way over there, right? That goes beyond what a human is even capable of when it comes to their consciousness. Okay, so now we get into that alien consciousness, right? Who looks at humans like, they call humans now the human animal, right? These are concepts that have been embedded into the global lexicon toward global language from these alien entities, okay? To make it seem like you are nothing. You're nothing more. You're nothing, no different than a gorilla.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're no different than anything because you're just a human animal. You're nothing more than that. All right. These are all ways to try to belittle you because they really despise you. Right. And what do they despise? They despise the humanity that's within you, because that humanity allows you to do wonderful things. Right. This is why, for example, even huge monumental constructions like the Great Pyramids, right? And all these other sites around the world that are like that, right? That make us look at it and wonder, like, what happened in the past, right?
Yes.
They will say, the anti-humans or the alien consciousness will say, well, we know that it obviously was created because it's in front of us, but we know that you didn't create it. So they'll make up anything else that created it. They'll say space dolphins made it, right?
Right.
Anything other than you as a human. Because if you knew that, even though that means that we may have collectively fallen a bit from grace, right? But if you knew you were once at that level as a human, right? That you are actually capable of building or creating or thinking of concepts that are absolutely completely sci-fi, and you are not only capable of doing it, but you once did it before, that can inspire people to challenge that alien consciousness in ways that they, of course, do not want. All right. So I hope that's making sense to.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So this is why our focus has become this. Yeah. We obviously, you saw the books behind me, we have, 50 times this amount, right? Going to say every subject, we could talk about aliens all day and everything else, but that's the reason why our folks at the Meta Center at least has become on the human themselves, getting them to be the best that they can be, because we see the world around us going into a direction that the majority of people that I consult with, which different races, different age ranges, male, female, and everybody for the most part doesn't like it. Okay, and so that's the reason why our focus is that, so that it doesn't take much. So we've seen over the last few years, and how do we know it doesn't take much for change? Okay, because over the last few years, even when some companies, and I'm not going to name their names, but some of these companies that did try to push out very draconian rules, like, for example, it's a big financial company that many use on their websites that said that they put in their terms of service that if you if you said anything that they don't like, or they just, not even to that point, they just don't like something that you do, period, even though most of us could consider innocent, okay, they can not only shut down your account, which they do anyway and have done to many people, but they can also fine you and take your funds and hold it legally. And that's just it. The people did not like that because that's ludicrous, right? That's a very anti-human thing to do.
Yes.
Okay, and so what ended up happening, many people start closing their accounts in mass from this very large provider that many people use. Okay, and what ended up happening, so many people did it that within about a day, 24 or 48 hours from that point, they retracted those tools. Okay, but just because they retracted doesn't mean they're going to do it again, because these are anti-human or alien consciousness based entities. Okay, so but it shows, and there's been many other incidents of that over the last few years, but mostly it's been over just issues that are more so very low level. Okay, that they don't really challenge anything that's really of concern to humanity itself. Okay, but it still shows the power that humanity actually has. Okay, if they just deploy it. Okay. Wow. So I'm going to pause there for a second.
Okay.
Is there, because this is so much that we could talk about concerning these things. All right. So, Alicia, so is there any, based on what I said thus far, is there anything that kind of spark something within you, or even something you've been through over the last few years?
Yes. So you're saying that these draconian consciousness are running the planet, and I think they're in every segment of society: politics, education, religion. I think they're infiltrated every segment of our existence. Why are they trying to oppress us? Are they jealous of us? Is this consciousness trying to keep us enslaved for our resources? Like, what is the point of it all? What's the inspiration for them doing this?
So that's part of the reason why I call them anti-humans. Okay. So because within us, we can say there's a divine spark, okay, within humanity, right? That comes from a source, okay? And it's really that source that they despise.
I see.
Okay. And so whether they try to use us as supposed cattle or whatever they think they can, that is what they despise. They despise the divine source that is within all humans. Okay. Most humans, though, are of extraterrestrial origin. Okay. That's why I'm using they have an alien consciousness. When I say extraterrestrial, it doesn't mean that you are just on this landmass. This space that we call Earth is much larger than what most people would know it actually is. Okay. And so some of us are from other or outside areas of this large space. And so in that case, we can call ourselves extraterrestrial or beyond, the terrestrial boundaries of what we think is our Earth. Okay. And so even though there were people here, there were people from elsewhere as well. Some other people came, and most of them came as well in the invasion. Okay. That happened, not that long ago, not as long ago as we think it is. Okay. And so, so anyhow, that's why our focus is what it is. Okay. It is just that important.
Okay.
And so meditation, every week we do meditations here. That's free to the public. Crystal Bowl meditation, totally free to the public every Tuesday. We kind of didn't do it this week because we're so busy. We actually kind of remodeling a little bit in the center, but so that's a stack for that.
So you're talking about extraterrestrials, where we all came from some type of extraterrestrial race.
Well, no, extraterrestrial place. We are the extraterrestrials. Yes.
What?
Yeah.
We are the extraterrestrials.
In most cases, most of the people here are not from the land that we are. When I say land, okay, make sure I have clarity here. So it's confusion. What we call the Earth is much larger than what, let's just say, the common maps show. Okay. We have maps going back almost 1,000 years, and you see all different types of land masses that people navigated around, and so on and so forth, that as time went on, those land masses just disappeared. That doesn't mean they actually disappeared. No, they just were taken off the map for us to see. So this is the reason why we are only able to travel to very specific destinations within the what we call internally the prison colonies. Okay, these are the prison colonies. So we're only able to travel within certain areas of these prison colonies, but there are land masses well beyond that. Okay, and so terrestrial in this case is the land masses that we could look at any map, world map. Those are the land masses. So let's call those the terrestrial land maps. But there are some well beyond that. Okay, so if you're beyond that, then you're from the extra areas, which is the extraterrestrial regions. Okay, and so many people, even though people think of like Sirius star system and kind of all the other stuff, which, you know, that's another story there. But many people are not from, or were originally from, or they're people from this specific landmass, even if they were on this landmass 1,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, when they eventually came over.
Yes.
Whenever that time they came over, you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But they originally were not from here. They came from somewhere else.
Somebody said extra territory. Oh, wow. I think I heard this from Dr. Delbert Blair when he said, we think that this colony was supposed to be, or this landmass was supposed to be to enslave us, but in actuality, it was to enslave some other beings that came here, and we were supposed to be the watchers over them. Is that what I understood him to say?
Well, that goes into the whole, it's not like, it's like the term, some people say, like the slogan, I'm not locked in here with you, but you're locked in here with me, kind of thing. Okay. Yeah. And so it's almost because of the wars that have taken place, they're more so locked within this space, and they're trying to get out of this space, as well as causing as much destruction and problems that they can cause. But they're trying to get out of this space by any means necessary, but they can't. Okay. Dr. Blair, Dr. Delbert Blair called this place a zoo. Okay, overall, right? And he said that if you can make it here in what we call Earth, then you can make it anywhere. Okay, because of the challenges that we go through here. Not every place has these kind of challenges. Okay, you take some of the challenges that we go through and pop us somewhere else, you know, we'd be almost like a god there, just because of how easy we're able to maneuver through life and everything else. You know what I'm saying? So,
So are we here in order to learn those lessons so that we can ascend to another dimension?
I would say that, because I most definitely don't have all the answers, and everyone has their own journey, right? But I would say for sure, it's not about doing what the anti-humans or the alien consciousness wants us to do. Okay. Most of us were taken off our path due to medical trauma. When we were children. Okay, so if you had to go to school and so on and so forth, and you were injected with a whole lot of different things, more than likely it did things to your mind. Okay, and it could have distorted your thinking, your logical processes of figuring out things. So that's your prefrontal cortex area and so on and so forth. Also, just how quickly you're able to just, again, problem solve, how quickly you were able to walk, how quickly you were able to learn language. Okay, these were bastardized a bit when that medical trauma took place. Okay, and this is a known thing. Okay, this is known. Okay, but people are just, you know, whether it be too trusting, or because their soul engine has almost depleted, okay, or going the opposite direction, that they just go along with whatever it is to go along with, unfortunately.
Somebody brought up in the comment section that there's a difference between human, H-U-E is the way they spelled it, M-A-N, and mankind. Is that true, or is that something that's too controversial to discuss?
Well, I purposely, of course, you know, again, Dr. Delbert Blair, you know, being with Dr. Blair, he broke it down many times: man, mankind, human, and the difference between them, and so on and so forth. But we have become too woke, in my opinion, anyway. Okay, people have become so woke. They could be so, instead of, let's say, with Earth, becoming woke is like going into space. Okay, we have actually went into space, literally, and so what you want to have your tether still to Earth while you float into space. You don't want to just be going out there without your tether to Earth, because the tether to Earth in this example keeps you grounded. Okay, we want to stay grounded in our thought processes. Okay, we see all over social media people going way out there, and so even when I So when it comes to certain conversations, many years ago, I used to include certain types of new age based terms in the conversation, right? And then some of the audience wouldn't know what the heck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Derail the conversation now to explain what that means, and the conversations don't flow, and it leads to all type of chaotic thoughts at that point, right?
Yes.
And so our principle that we utilize is the KISS principle, which is keep it simple.
Okay.
Keep things. When I say human, everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Right. Right. Okay.
We can go woke, but people know.
Okay. Another thing, I want to talk about while we're on the subject of humankind is gender roles. I don't want to get into, gender per se, but I noticed that there's a battle going on right now between the male and female principle. I'm assuming that's draconian.
Yes.
What can we do to bring about, first of all, why is that there? Why does that exist? And what can we do to bring about harmony so that we can live in peace?
That's an excellent question, right?
Thank you.
So I'm going to say a very controversial statement here. Okay. All right. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Okay. I love the aliens and draconians and the deletists. Okay. I don't call them elitists. I call them elitists. Okay. I love them, right? I'm saying that for a reason here, right? So I don't love them as a brother, sister, or a mother, father kind of thing, right? But I love them in the sense that they're showing humanity what not to do. Okay. They're showing humanity how not to be. Okay. I mean, it's pretty easy to see. Okay. They're showing humanity, well, if you don't like, for example, the way that we're contaminating all the food, well, then grow your own food.
Well, preach, brother.
They're showing humanity where that they even in their books, they have said that, you know what? And this is how it's not even, some people call it arrogance, but they have a purpose as well. Okay. Again, this gets into, again, higher level, that 5D, fifth dimensional kind of conversations here.
Okay.
Right? Where we're not just taking things personal, because it's not necessarily just about you, even though it is about you on certain levels. Okay. So they're playing their purpose. And just like all of us are as well. And partly of their purpose, you can say in a way, is to play the bad guy. Okay. To show you how not to be the bad guy.
Wow. Okay.
So for example, in many of their literature, they talked about how they're going to divide people by religion, by race, by gender, pretty much in short, I see you got your beverage of choice as well. Right?
It's my tea.
There it is, right?
Yes.
But they have arrogantly, some would say, have preloaded humanity by telling them that they're going to divide you by these very basic things. Okay, and put it like this, right? This is what they're showing. If they can divide you by religion, by putting in just those simple divisive things and that totally then break down your belief system, that might mean that belief system was not as strong as you thought it was.
Wow.
Okay. If they're able to just put into a relationship this little divisive rhetoric and it destroys your relationship, okay, then it must mean the relationship was not as strong as you thought it was, which means then maybe the principles or what we're focusing on is not what we should be focused on. Maybe we should be focusing on something else that would actually strengthen it for real, that would not allow it to be broken down by someone simply saying a few words.
Okay.
So based on what they've done, especially the last few years, they've shown what it means when people don't come together. Right now, it did activate people, and people are coming together. Right. But with that, they're showing what it means to give all of your energy, all of your uniqueness, okay, all of your, what the Bible would say, talents, okay, giving all of your talents to anti-human control or energetics in these entities, right? What happens when you do that instead of giving it to yourself or in your community? Okay. Instead of, even though it might not give you the perceived glory or whatever people got in their heads, whatever, but it will satisfy your soul, literally, again, to the point where you kind of will live on forever through your works in that regard, right? And so with that, they're actually showing all of us the better way to be. Okay. And so it's in these, at least the meta centers, opinion here, and that's why we do what we do, that people should work on that. Now, one of the statements you made is that how can we pretty much, let's say in relationships, okay, bring it back together.
Yes.
Okay. It's the first really examine why you all apart in the first place. Like what is the actual core issue? Okay. In many cases, the issue is not as big as people think it is.
That's right.
Okay. And when they really examine it, and then it becomes more so once it's examined and it does seem not to be as big of an issue as it seems to be. Okay. Then from that point it becomes, okay, well, it becomes self-evaluation to understand thyself, yourself, okay, and why you're being triggered over something that may be so minuscule.
Wow.
Why am I? Again, this deals with self-reflection, right?
Okay.
Why am I being triggered over something that if someone, why am I being triggered over something that literally is nothing really to be actually triggered about? Okay, and then I'm allowing that to fester and grow and to break down even loving bonds that are there, right?
Yes.
And so these are topics, and we know this is taking place because the further you go back in time, you don't see these issues as major as it is now. Okay, so pretty much the further we go back, the smaller the issue becomes. Okay, and to the point, so we could say if that's the case, the further we go back, the smaller the issue becomes. Then that means that at a certain point somewhere in the past, it was no issue at all.
Wow. Yes.
Okay, then it means that, okay, if it was no issue at all at a certain point, how did it become an issue? Okay, now some would say, because it's very divisive language. Okay, we don't get into the division tactics either. Okay, when people are too divided, we need to work on tactics to instead connect people instead of dividing people. All right, and so people will say, well, because the reason why it started is because of some entity they're going to name outside of themselves. Okay, but the thing about it is that and that entity could be a human, whatever, but some entity outside of themselves said or did something that supposedly created that issue, right? But it really comes down to it, that issue would not even have been able to be created if it wasn't in you in the first place.
Wow. Okay.
That's what it comes down to. Okay,
Self-accountability.
Self-accountability, and this is one of the hardest. I'll put it like this, right? I've been doing what I've been doing for decades, right? And so we're talking about 25 years at this point, right? And so self-accountability is probably one of the most difficult processes to get one to understand and to accept. Okay, but once they do, they change their world at that point. Okay, their world changes, even they could be doing wonderful in their world right now, right? But once they really become self-accountable and really understand, like for example, we see the music these days, and we see how these artists, for example, are literally being utilized to contaminate further generations, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Regardless of the consequence, when one really is self-accountable, and they see that, because they may not, again, people, we have the term of being awake, right? The term awake means that at one point then you were asleep. Because you can't be awake unless you were asleep beforehand, right?
Yes.
And so if you were asleep beforehand, many of us were, okay? And in that state, it's almost like you're in a state of limbo, right? Your actions are not, it's kind of like you're almost in a dream floating around, because how we know is because most of us here, if we say, how was it when you were asleep versus when you were awake? Many people, again, and I have consulted with thousands of people, most of them describe kind of like a dream-like state, like kind of like their actions they were doing. It was kind of like in third person kind of thing. And when they became awake, it's like it became first person at that point. Okay. So some of these people can't necessarily be as harsh on some people, because some of their actions from birth, they just been going through one trauma to the next. Okay. And then they get into certain spaces of certain entities and people, and they see that. Okay. And they have been trained, or they're able to, as almost like a predator, to pinpoint a person who is under certain trauma and then utilize that for the best of their benefits. Okay. Benefit themselves. Right. And so some of these people are just acting out from a trauma perspective and thinking that's the way it is. But once they become aware, then become self-accountable, then they understand the effects of what they are doing and the reach they actually have. And then from that point, things can actually move a bit better. It's a very interesting and kind of difficult process, but it does happen, and people are waking up again every single day. But with that, it's all to say, because I don't want to get into sounding like we're talking about despair, because we're not. Okay. This is just some of the issues that surround humanity as a whole, but it's to show that humanity itself is so powerful in who you are and what you're, but not out of ego though. We, the soul engine it's a gift. Okay. It's to say it's a gift that we have, because some people don't have that gift. Okay. It's a gift that you have that gives you grace, that gives you the opportunities, that gives you at certain times in our lives when we are hitting rock bottom, that person is there to help at that point in time, right? People don't have that. So why do you have that and they don't have that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So some of these things that just seem like just coincidence, seem like they're not related, are all actually related. And it's that spark that's within us that allows us to be and do amazing things in this lifetime.
And speaking of humanity and how we all have that spark. When I think about the male and the female, I'm thinking we're really the same. And I learned that from Dr. Delbert Blair and my daughter, who studied biology. She was studying to be a doctor at one point, and she told me the male and the female are the same. We both have breasts. And I heard Dr. Delbert Blair confirm, or I'm sure he said it first, the things my daughter learned, that I think the ovaries that we have are the testicles in the male.
Yes.
The fallopian tubes that we have is the same as the vas deferens in the male, and so on and so forth. So it seems like we're one and the same. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's why it's silly when I hear these arguments. Obviously, we would not be here. Well, men and women, we would not be here, right? Okay.
Right.
We complete each other.
Yes.
Okay. And it's so silly that we can be so easily broken apart. Okay. Again, but that deals with, self accountability, because there's something within one or both of these people that is able to be targeted and brought out to cause the division in the first place.
Wow.
Okay? So what is one gender or this gender, whether it be a male or female, what is it that they're seeking or wanting that is called, that in seeking and wanting that, whatever that may be, that allows the division to continue on just almost indefinitely. Okay. And so, that's something that people will have to, it's not my job to tell people what that is. Okay. But I would just say meditation helps. Okay. If you find that you're not having, like, for example, I have many people around me who've been around for decades. Okay. And a lot of people don't have that. Okay. Friends have been around for decades. Okay. And many of them. Okay. Many people that I've come across, I'm over 40 years old. Okay. I might not look like,
wow, you look amazing. You're kidding.
Yes.
I thought you were 30, and I was trying to make it make sense. You've been doing this work for 25 years. You look amazing. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Again, and that's what it goes back to the internal vortex. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why when people find out how old I actually am, right, then it starts to make sense. Like, oh, okay, maybe it is something he's talking about that is, something relevant to it. Okay.
Sign me up.
So, but
sorry.
I kind of want to talk, but you kind of threw me off a little bit.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. Put me back on there.
Okay, well, we were talking about, gosh, I forgot. Talking about how similar we are. Oh, man. Family, do you remember what we were talking about before I said I couldn't believe he was over 45? But on that note, if we take accountability, self-accountability, and you were talking about I think meditation, there are certain things we could do. Go ahead.
Yes. So meditation, right?
Yes.
And we don't have to do anything when you meditate. We do very simple meditations, right? They're simple and they're powerful. Okay. Again, you don't have to give your energy to some strange entity. Okay. Mantras, there are reasons why someone would do a mantra while meditating, but you don't have to. Okay. Everything that you say you should know exactly what it means. Okay.
Mm.
Saying things in strange languages, you have no idea what it means. Now, it could be something very powerful and could lead to self-realization, or
Mm.
it may not. Okay. It could lead to something else,
Okay.
right? But
Right.
if you don't know what the language is, and you don't know what's pretty much you're saying, then how do you know which way it is or not? Just because someone told
Good
you
point.
that's what you should do.
Good
Okay.
point. Yeah.
So meditation is really, really simple, right? And if
Okay.
you did at least 5 minutes a day, that's it.
That's
Okay?
it.
It can lead to amazing benefits in time. Okay.
Okay.
And so only thing you do is just find a comfortable space, okay, and close your eyes and
Mm.
breathe in through your nose until you're full. Okay. You hold it and then breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Hold it. Breathe out through your mouth. And so that's what you do just for 5 minutes. That's it. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
That's it.
That's it. Some people will say, they go into, they want to do this and they want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so again, see, when I was younger doing this and telling people these things, right? I was younger, so, you don't really know what you're talking about or anything else. But now that I'm getting older and older, right, now it's starting to make sense because, maybe it is something to it. Okay. And so even though there are more advanced breathing techniques than that, and we teach them, what I'm saying? We know them. Okay. Even though there are certain mantras that can be said that we can actually show you what they mean, that do help to energize your cells and stuff like that. Yes, there's a purpose for that. Okay. But overall, even myself, this is what I'm doing all day, every day. So it comes to a point where when you start to meditate so much and you do it on a regular basis, then your life becomes a meditation. Okay.
Yes.
So like right now, as we're speaking, I'm meditating right now. Okay. And so sometime in that, I had to make sure that, I don't go off too far. Okay. I go out into space if I want to and kind of be there because I am meditating as we're speaking here. So, but again, it happens to you. You would do it too. It just happens in time for those who are listening. So.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for saying that. So we talked about humanity, and I want to be respectful of your time. So let us know if we need to bring it in.
Okay. We got. I gave us to 1 p.m. Central Time, so we got 40 minutes.
Okay. Another thing people wanted to talk about was the power of vibration and manifestation.
Okay. So manifestation, that word has become a pet peeve of mine over a few years, right? Okay. Just because people have been utilizing it in a way where they want something for nothing. Okay. Ooh. And so over the past 2 years or so, on the Meta Center YouTube channel, we had a Wednesday show called Manifestation Wednesdays, where people could call in and talk about their manifestation challenge. And I would give step-by-steps of how to bring it to be, okay, and so forth, practical steps, right? So when it comes to manifestation, and we have the videos over the universal laws, okay?
Because, I saw that.
Yes, so those are. She's on our YouTube channel now. Kia is, and we have many videos there, and so you should check that out. But
okay, I'll get off. I'm gonna put the link in here in the chat. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So when it comes to real manifestation, there's two components that one needs to consider. Okay. One, the universal laws. Okay, and also the focus of your intention. Okay, so both of those. Okay, so in that, it's also action that's needed too. Okay, action is needed. All right, so just praying itself, or just, asking for something is one thing, but praying or meditating on something, okay, that's one thing, right? That is one aspect of it. Okay, and that does have a place. Okay, but the actual physical steps need to happen. Now, how do we know this? There are people who manifest all the time without utilizing any prayer at all.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? They manifest, they just do the physical steps needed.
That's true. Yeah. They work.
Right. Whether it be, let's say I want to manifest a new job, right? We have two people here. We have a person here who just prays and meditates on it. and that's all they do. And we have a person here who doesn't pray or meditate at all, but is physically putting forth the resumes, going business to business, and so on and so forth, right?
Yes.
I mean, this is simple, right? Again, we keep it simple,
Yes.
okay? Because keeping it simple allows us all to see without any confusion, okay? And humanity as a whole is simple, okay? Yes, we can create complexity if we wanted to, but overall, humans don't like to be in complex scenarios. It naturally causes us stress. Okay. So with that, if we go back to those two scenarios, again, one scenario, one is just praying for it and asking whatever God that they, whoever, okay. And another person is not praying, not doing any of that. Okay. But is physically putting forth resumes, physically going door to door, and so on and so forth. Well, who's going to get the job? Of course, the one who's actually physically going door to door. Okay, of course, that, right? And so, I mean, it's simple, right? So, but now when you add the icing or the flavoring of spirituality on top of that, now it could just lead to a more flavorful job kind of thing, right?
Oh, okay.
It could lead to a scenario because you're thinking of it. Again, it's focused intent. So now you are thinking about it, not just getting a job, but how can this job, for example, lead to that next destination that I want to get to? Okay. Or I want a job, for example, that yes, I'm going to be doing the physical actions, but I like the job because I want to meet people in a certain way so that I can be more fulfilled or more whole by doing something for humanity instead of always being self-serving. Okay. Those kind of scenarios now start to go into play when we add spirituality into what we do. Right. And so there was something else you had mentioned too.
I said we talked about manifestation and what else? I don't know. Vibration? Was it vibration? Raising our vibrations?
Okay.
But I want to show you this right quick where you were talking about the two scenarios. And the Bible says faith without works is dead. And it also says in James 2:18, yes, a man may say thou hast faith and I have works. Show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. So
there it is, right? For those who need that. Right? So, and this is all just universal laws at play. Okay. The universal law, for example, of cause and effect. Okay. Or the universal law of correspondence. Okay. These are these universal laws at play that you're utilizing in your life.
Okay.
To again, to an error that I would say that some people do is that they try to seek more than even what they are capable of even holding if they received it. Okay. So for example, one wants to be reasonable, but maybe somewhat challenging to yourself, right? Where I don't want exactly what I can handle. I want a little bit above that, right? To challenge me a little bit, right? Which again, that may lead that challenge may lead to more money. Okay, it may lead to more opportunities, so because you're just not doing what you are able to do. You're challenging yourself to rise higher. Okay, but to take that and say, no, what I want to be like the anti-humanist and be a billionaire and do all that other stuff. Well, now you're trying to hold much more energy, regardless we say it's good energy or bad energy, than even what one has the capability of doing at this time. Okay. And so that's when ones put themselves in scenarios that end up bringing them into places where they get used and abused and so on and so forth, because they're in spaces that really they weren't meant to be just because of their current energetic state. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean they would never be there, but right now they're asking for more than what their energy or their internal vortex is able to handle at this time.
And that's probably why the scripture says he will put no more on you than you can bear. It's not just problems or issues. He may not, or source or the universe may not give you more than you can handle. Yes. And here's your channel, your YouTube channel, showing the different videos on universal laws. So thank you so much.
Very welcome.
I'll put that in the chat as well. So I'll show people that I have faith by the work that I do. I couple the works and faith together, and that's how I'm able to manifest. Tony, I was asking Source the other day and the ancestors, why don't I have more? I have all these degrees and I work hard and I pray and, I do good by people. And that's when the thought came to me, you get what you deserve and what you can handle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm at peace with that now.
There it is. And there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Okay.
When we actually really be realistic, right, and we see what, because let's think about it, right? Some person
Yes.
may say, you know what, I want to be that CEO that's
Mhm.
making, $1 million a year. Okay, again, you could, some people, okay, this goes into another topic of people. It's kind of weird how everybody's pushing everybody to be in business for themselves.
Yes,
Okay?
yes.
Being in business for yourself is tiresome. Okay, I've been in business for myself for over 20 something years. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm telling you the facts here. Okay,
Yeah.
you're always thinking of your business. There's
Mhm.
never a time that you're not. Okay, when you work a 9 to 5, when you get off, for the most part, you're off. You can do
Did it.
whatever you want to do. Okay,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. And people say, well, you can never be rich. You can never be rich working for somebody else. There are people right now. There are people all over the place making $500,000 or higher. Okay, we talking about doctor money. Okay, $250,000
Mhm.
or higher,
Mhm.
working a 9 to 5.
That's
Okay,
true.
you just
Engineers.
you engineers,
Mhm.
computer, people in the IT world. Computers like I'm
Yeah.
in the STEM field, been in the STEM field for a long time, right?
Mm.
Um, but there's many fields. If you, as you're going through your career path, if you increase your schooling, your knowledge base, and as you keep increasing, okay,
Yes.
especially when it comes to the technical fields, okay, or the business or the investment banking fields for finance, okay. Of
Mhm.
course,
Mhm.
we know in healthcare, becoming a medical doctor of some sort as well, okay. All of
Yes.
those paths lead to that type of money.
They
Uh,
do.
okay, so you can make $1 million a year. So let's just say a person says, okay, um, again, going back to the premise of it's okay to just be okay. It's okay for that, right? Because someone say, okay, that CEO who's making five. We hear about CEOs causing all type of mayhem, but they making $5 million a year, $10 million a year, pay rate, right? But
Mhm.
you see that they are pretty much working 99% of the time.
Yes.
Okay, they have really none of the time. Like someone say, well, I like to do my hobbies. I like to play video games. I like to ball with my homies, every Saturday. Well, you're not gonna probably do that. Okay.
Mhm.
And so is that okay with you? Now, some people do value those relationships they have, right? And they say work is not that important. Well, that means because you say that, well, more than likely then that path may not be 100% for you. Okay.
Right.
Because they're giving up all of their essence to whatever this entity is. Okay. And you're not willing
Mhm.
to give up all your essence for that. Okay. And again, and that's okay.
Yes. Yes.
That's perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And these are the type of conversations that we have at the Benner Center, because I want to see people the best that they can be. Partly why? Because when I was younger and I needed help and so on and so forth, there was no one around.
Mm.
Okay? And
Mm.
so I dedicate a portion of my life to help people who may just need a conversation, or those people who are trying to get to that superhuman state, okay,
Yeah.
or people who are trying to work through certain challenges. Because when I had certain challenges, for the most part, I had to figure it out. There was no one around. Of course, we're talking about the 80s and early 90s, so on and so forth. There's no one around that I could talk to
Mm.
and get help just by asking them simple questions, or questions that I feel are serious, okay,
Mhm.
and so forth.
Mhm.
But what does this happen? Because then we start to create these symbiotic relationship, right? So we start to feed our external vortex, right?
Yeah.
Where now, because I help you, you help us, you help the medicine, because not just you helping me, you helping the medicine and what we do for the community,
Mhm.
like that, right? So it creates that feedback loop, right? And it should be a feedback loop in anything of that, especially that humanity does. Okay,
Mhm.
as people pour into you, you should pour back into them. Okay, yes,
Mhm.
you may not pour into them the exact same way they pour into you, and so on and so forth, but it should be a feedback loop. If you're just taking or you're just giving only, that's going to lead to problems later.
Mm.
It has to be that reciprocal feedback loop in everything that humans do with each other.
Ashe. Amen. Amen. Thank you for that. And what about raising our vibrations? And then I'm going to ask you if you could answer some questions for our audience.
Sure.
Okay.
So we can really say our entire conversation today, whether we talk about the aliens or whatever it may be, right,
Yes.
is about raising the vibration, right?
Okay.
Um, Holistic lifestyles. Okay, it doesn't mean, again, if people want to subscribe to belief systems. Okay,
Mm.
obviously these belief systems have been around for ages, and yet people are declining.
Mm.
Okay, so
Right.
maybe there's something more than just that belief system or belief system as a whole as we think of it. Okay, maybe it's a different way we need to think of belief systems than the way that maybe than the way that we currently are. Okay, because again, you know, a part of being a scientist, okay, one of the things in the scientific theory or the scientific mechanisms of proving or disproving something, okay, one of those attributes is observation. Okay, your observation is important, is what you see. Okay, and these a lot of these entities that we see, again, in these different spaces of belief systems, whatever it may be, many of them kind of look like they're decaying. Oh, okay, they look, I mean, let's look at them. Okay, many of them are like, for example, there's more of them that are not looking like they're glowing, like, because they're living a holistic lifestyle, because they're eating a certain way, and so on and so forth. So it becomes where, like, okay, and this is not a slant on them as people, okay, as individuals or part of humanity, but it's to say that maybe there's something missing, okay, that's not giving them everything that they need to be that glowing being that supposedly they are projecting outward. That is the reason why you need to give them donations.
No.
So yeah, so yeah, we see where that go, right?
So raising vibrations is a holistic thing you do. You eat well, you enjoy the sun, because sun is good for your pineal gland. It's good for your skin. For some people say that they cannot stay in the sun too long. But you drink clean water, you exercise, and
all of that. Yes. Okay. So again, let's keep it simple.
Okay.
Keep it simple. Ideally, anything processed foods you shouldn't eat. Okay. So anything that you get at the market, that you look at the back of the packaging and there's something there, that's some chemical that you can't even pronounce, have a hard time pronouncing, then more than likely you should not eat that. Okay. You want to keep things, when it comes to food, you want to keep the food as close to its natural state as possible. Okay. When it comes to water, ideally, reverse osmosis systems, ideally, because it's removing a lot of contaminants that the anti-humans and the draconian alien consciousness factions put into the water. Okay. And so you want to ideally reverse osmosis systems. If you can't get access, again, you can find them on these different websites. There's 3, 5, 7, 11 stage ones. They come in stages. Okay, that's how many, when the water's going through the system, how many components is going into to clean up something out of the water. Okay. So ideally, you want to go to sites. There's a site called it. You want to go to Google and type in tap water database. Okay, and go into the tap water database. You'll get the website. You can put in your zip code, and when you put in your zip code in that website, it's going to bring up your municipality. It's going to let you know at least the last time they tested all the contaminants that are in your Pacific water supply. Okay, from that point. Yes. Okay. And most people have anything from radiation and literally uranium, plutonium in their water supply. Okay. They have not just lead, not just arsenic, chlorine. It's all different types of chemicals in a lot of our water supplies that are 100% causing us or our people or humanity to get cancer of all sorts, reproductive issues of all sorts, and so on and so forth. Okay? And so, can you bring that?
I can put it back up. Yes.
So, for example, I'm going to give you our zip code here, and you can see what's in our water supply, just so the audience can see this.
Okay.
Here.
Oh, I see it right there. Okay.
Yep. 60453.
60453. Okay.
Okay, so it's searching right now. It's going through it. And so there, click on the city of Chicago there.
Right here. Okay.
And so it says that there are 13 contaminants that exceed what the EWG health guidelines there, but there are 22 total contaminants total. If you scroll down there, it's going to get into the actual, scroll down a little more. So you see there, these are the actual contaminants. Okay.
Oh my God.
Most of these contaminants, at the very least, cause cancer at the
Oh
least.
my God.
Many of them cause neurological issues. For example, how's your thinking? Are you becoming now stress and stuff like that can affect your focus and your memory and stuff like that as well. But also drinking water like this can too. Okay. So so look up your water supply. Then from that point, you want to cross-reference that with a reverse osmosis system so that it can get out what you are concerned about in your particular water supply. Now, some things like uranium and plutonium,
Yes.
so those things may not be able to get out even from a reverse osmosis system. Okay, so you need to switch to a whole entirely different water supply to begin with. If you're unable to get a reverse osmosis system, because those have to hook up to your home in some way, whether your sink or in your water tank, then distilled water. Okay, distilled water on the different websites online, you can find even portable counter distilled water machines where you just fill it up with tap water, you let it run its process, and it will give you distilled water. Okay. They cost around $100 or so. They're not too expensive, but ideally spring water. But again, you have to be careful when it comes to spring water, because some people are in areas especially most of the audience will probably be United States, and some of them could live in areas where fracking is going on, and it contaminates the water supply. Okay. And so you want to be careful if you just say spring water, because someone will go out and see a natural spring, which is fantastic. That is the best water that we should be drinking, but they'll get it and it's actually contaminated. So if you do find a natural spring, okay, then you want to get that water tested before you actually are drinking out of it. But so clean water, clean food ideally as close to as natural source as possible. When it comes to meditation, should be a daily habit. Okay. Period. Okay. When it comes to the people around you, try your best first off to cultivate the peace within you. Okay, but then if you are a peaceful person, everything else, and you are balanced, I should say, not necessarily peaceful, but balanced. Okay, from that point, creating those wholesome relationships, that because people as a whole are social people. Okay? And so creating good social relationships is not about dictating to someone about doing something or something like that, unless they're your child maybe or something. Okay, but it's not about necessarily dictating to someone. It's about being understanding, okay, and showing by example. Okay, people when they see they keep doing something that's not working and they keep doing something that is working, okay, then people tend to take notice of that. Okay, and then they tend to be more easy to have a conversation with if that's the case. Okay, I would say more than anything, a lot of people need to be more understanding. You're gonna, you know what I'm saying, of people's, we all have a story. Okay? Some of our story may go more in one direction than the other, but we all have a story. Okay. And understanding that because we all have a story and we don't know necessarily the next person's story, that maybe we just need to have a certain base level of respect for people as people. Okay. And then grow from there. I think things will be a lot better in the long run.
You gave us a lot there, and it's definitely something that's doable, and it causes us to take accountability for where we are in life, and just change holistically our diet. You talked about food, you talked about water, and relationships, and also I'm sure supplements and meditation helps as well.
There's one thing I want to say here, 'cause I just came to my mind. I want to make sure I let your audience know. Okay. So when it comes to specifically health and wellness is actually very, very simple. Okay. It's not difficult at all. All right. It becomes difficult when we partake in some type of activity that contaminates the way our body functions. Okay. So whether it be promiscuity, okay, all right, because that could introduce certain types of bacteria or other types of agents, right, that our system cannot fight naturally. Okay, so then that contaminates our system in some form or fashion that could lead to cysts in other types of reproductive harm, right? But let's even go back to our childhood. Okay, many people are for some reason or another undergoing some form of medical trauma. Okay. And what that does, so you can look at the contradiction sheet of So for example, one of the childhood vaccines, for example, if you could look it up on your Kia, it's okay. I have the list right here.
Okay. I see your questions, family, on Kangen water and alkaline water, and I'll ask him that after he talks about this subject here. And I see more questions as well.
So here, what you see here, this is the childhood vaccination schedule.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
And so one of them, for example, is one of the ones I want to tell you about is rotavirus. Okay. So if you were to type in on on Google, actually, well, let's just do it like this. Okay.
Okay.
So rotavirus, if you were to look at the contradictions of rotavirus, okay,
Let me look it up.
if you could, it allows them to see it if you're able to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rotavirus.
Yes. Rotavirus.
Okay.
And so rotavirus vaccine.
Not the virus, but the vaccine?
Yes, rotavirus vaccine.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, let me go back. Okay.
And so look for a site there. It should be one that will give you the contradictions of that. Of course, I don't have it up on my screen here. I even think
it probably wouldn't be from the CDC, huh?
Maybe. But
Okay.
while you're looking there, I'm going to keep talking on my end.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because what I want them to see is this, right? So you're going to see when it comes to any of these childhood okay, she's bringing it up there. So you're going to see when it comes to any of these chemicals that these viruses, these diseases that a person is being injected with, it has tons of contradictions, meaning that it can cause many other issues. Why? Because you're being injected with a disease, right? Even say, well, it's of course, the anti-humans, they would say something to the effect of, well, it's a weakened version. Okay, but it's still the disease, and it still comes with a full list. If you go to even your local pharmacy and whatever injection they want to inject in, flu virus, whatever it may be, and you ask them to see the sheet and of the precautions of that sheet, you're going to see a ton of issues, let's just say, that can possibly happen if you inject this within you, right? So what I'm saying to say is that these issues that we subject ourselves to can cause what I call the phantom to pop up. Okay. This is the phantom of the opera. All right. The opera is you, is your vessel. The phantom is these different issues that tend to pop up over time. Okay. This is when one has a phantom running around their opera. This is when health and wellness becomes difficult. Okay. It's when someone may come to the medical center, for example, or another place that's doing similar things and say, okay, my foot is swelling. Okay. Or I have lumps now popping up on my hand for some reason. Right. And so even if there's a herb that can help with that and so on and so forth, and let's say it goes away, but then sometime in the future, something else pops up. Okay. And then if you take care of that, something else, and this is because of that phantom that is running around the opera. Okay. The opera is your vessel. Okay. There's a simple, the medicine has a methodology when it comes to, again, the spirituality, physicality, and the mentality, right? And when it comes to the physicality, our methodology, because if one has allowed a phantom to be within them, okay, then it becomes our most important objective at that point is to, when it comes to wellness, is to try to push the phantom into hiding so that it doesn't show up until well past a certain point. Okay. So let's say, for example, we could see the future, right?
Yes.
And this person is supposed to live to 100 years of age. Okay. And if we do nothing, if they do no alternative wellness strategies or anything like that, this phantom, meaning this disease or diseases, are going to pop up at 50 years old. Okay. Well, through our methodology, we try to make it so it doesn't pop up to 105. But you say, well, didn't you just say they don't live to 100? Yes. So that means that if they lived to 105, then that's when they'll start seeing problems are popping up, right? So they live a long life, and even though the phantom was in their system, it didn't rear its head until it rears its head well past the point of time where they wouldn't be here.
I see.
So anyway, so when it comes to our wellness, again, keep it simple. All of this is simple. It's not as difficult as it seems. The anti-human or the alien consciousness, it's the way it thinks. It doesn't think like a human. Again, humans overall want to keep things simple.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's true. Yes.
This complexity that we see in our lives, these complex systems that we're seeing being built around us, are being built by an alien consciousness. Most
Okay.
of the So without me going too deep into their methodologies of what they do, but so the long short of it is that keep things simple, keep one's life simple, and you will see that you will end up living a very long, healthy, happy life. Okay.
Okay. Speaking of that, in the alien consciousness, Douglas Lattimore from Douglas Lattimore podcast asked, well, is a Black American president likely to stop the anti-humans? And I think he's saying that because people are saying that the Aboriginal people here in America are actually the so-called Blacks. We didn't come from slavery. So he asked, is a Black American president likely to stop these anti-human or this consciousness? And how do we stop these anti-humans from their harmful activities?
First, you become more human. Okay. So it's not about, again, that's looking for, during this conversation, if you've been listening from the beginning, I talked about the external, okay, externalizing things, okay, or seeking external, some external entity or whatever it may be, okay. Yes. We need to look in the mirror and make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, okay. And this is no direct toward the person, toward Douglas, who asked that question there, but my question would be, are you literally operating the way you should be operating as a human? Okay. Are you doing anti-human, tactics and so on and so forth in your day-to-day social interactions and so on and so forth? So pretty much, are you promoting their virus-like activities without even knowing it? Okay. A lot of it is going to start at home. Okay. All right. And if we are able to get ourselves to the point where we're even thinking straight. Many people aren't even thinking straight. So how can we talk about just something else well beyond us if we're not even able to be in the same room together for more than 10 minutes? Okay. But if we're able, again, meditate, eat healthy, be careful of the thought forms. Again, we call them, as well, thought forms, right? Be careful of the thought forms that you're ingesting into your mentality. Okay. On YouTube, whatever it may be, because they do matter. Okay. Be careful of the music you listen to. Okay. Be careful of the people you associate with. Okay. All of these things actually matter. Okay. And so, yeah.
It starts at home. Everything starts with the individual at the individual level. And some people want to know, finally, and then I'm going to bring up your website, Tony, because we're going to, again, be respectful of your time. What about sun gazing? Can you address sun gazing and also Kangen water and alkaline water?
Okay, cool. So sun gazing, many claim benefit of that. Okay, you want to look at the sun as it rises in the morning time and as it sets at night. Some people who are more advanced in doing that would do it, other times of the day. But the safest point in time is in the morning time and in the evening time as the sun is going down. And so you're seeing it rise or set on the horizon. Okay, and many claim a lot of benefits from that, and I can see that, and I've done it myself in the past. Okay. When it comes to Kangen or alkaline water, those are the same thing.
Oh, they are. I didn't know that.
Kangen water is from a Kangen machine, which is a Japanese country who was one of the first people who made alkaline machines. Okay? So pretty much they're like the Rolls Royce of alkaline machines. Okay. And so they call their water Kangen water, but this is alkaline water.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to bring up, you were talking to me earlier today about something you did. Let me see what it was. Something called Open Doors. What was that about?
Open Doors. I know I spoke to you about the space, the whirlwind, the Project Etheric, the whirlwind.
Let's see, what's this here? Well, first of all, this is some of the classes that you offer, right?
Yeah, these are past classes here. Okay. So many of these are past. Oh, you're talking about the soul's doorway.
The sword, yes, that's it.
Okay. All right, so we have classes all the time.
Okay.
We travel around the country, uh,
Wow.
and when we travel around the country, it's not just lectures or classes. We are
Jesus, you're
always
out of luck. Okay, go ahead.
Mhm. We are always trying to. It's an educational experience, right? But a good one that we all enjoy. You can say no matter
Okay.
what the topic is. So, for example, over the summer of this year, we had a 2-day event, and on the first day, it was called the Old World
Okay.
Tour. Okay,
Okay.
which is ancient. We pretty much around Chicagoland. There's a lot of ancient structures that were here from a previous civilization. Okay,
Mm,
and
yes.
many places have them, and they don't even know that's what they are. Okay,
Mm,
and so on day one, we had a really nice it was a really nice, limousine bus and everything else. We went around Chicagoland and we took the day together to go to these ancient structures and
mm,
we had, talk about them and what they were used for and so on and so forth. Okay. And on
yes.
the next day, it was the main event, which was the Soul's Doorway.
Okay.
And it went about 5 to 6 hours. And we went deep into what can pretty much, to keep it simple, we went to trauma. Okay. The types of trauma, how they begin. I mean, literally step by step of how they begin. Okay.
Mm,
Step by step of what happens when they begin. Okay. Step by
mm,
step of how to help a person or whether oneself if they have been subjected to that. Right. It is on our YouTube channel, an edited version, which is about 4 hours long.
okay.
It's on our YouTube channel, and you could check that out if you choose to. It's been helpful to just tons and tons and tons of people. Um, but we do events all the time. One of the events we did, even again, 2001, we did sent some monitoring equipment into space,
Mm,
sort of like that, literal
wow.
space, okay, above us, as Kia had mentioned in the beginning of this episode here, and we did that because people just wondered. Okay, instead of people again, humans have the capability to do wonderful things. And so the community wondered about space. And even though I knew certain things, it's not just about me dictating to you. Okay.
Mm,
So as a community project, we literally created the equipment needed to go out into space. Okay. And
wow.
that footage, which is called Project Etheric, is on our YouTube channel as well. And you can see
Okay.
most of the footage, some of what we withheld for our private events and stuff like that. But most of the footage is there. You see it go up into the sky. You see it pretty much go up into space. You see the sun there. You see the earth below. Okay. From that
Mm,
point, the balloon eventually busts. Okay. And it ended up landing almost 2.5, 3 hours away from where we did it at. So pretty much I'm in the Chicagoland area. I almost had to drive to Indianapolis to pick up the equipment because we had GPSs on it and everything. Yes,
wow.
Project Etheric right there. And so the beacons went off and I went out almost 2 to 2.5, 3 hours away to pick up the equipment from there. And you'll see all that footage. You'll see me walking through a cornfield and everything to pick it up.
That's so amazing. Well, Tony, you have truly blessed us with so much information, so much knowledge with your time and your gifts. I want to know, where can people find your work? Because some people are asking if they can send donations. I don't know if you accept donations, but that's
Oh,
what they're asking in the chat.
well, we do. The work we do is tiresome, and it takes a lot. So whether you want to be a part of what we do
Okay.
directly, because we do have events all the time. Okay, I'm working right now. I'm thinking of in manifesting our 2024 events right now, and those are posted on the website when that happens. But if you want to contribute past that point, buying products and so on and so forth, we are
Mhm.
a phone call away. You could give us a call at 708
Let me write
six
that down.
mhm,
I'm sorry, 708
668
668.
4909. Here at the center, every week we're doing something here at the center, whether it be meditations, whether it be classes, and so on and so forth. We do have 2 classes coming up. Um, on your screen there, on the website, we have an event calendar as well, but we have an event on the 30th of this month, and that's Holistic Inner. And what that is doing is preparing people. That could be held privately as well if you want to do it privately, but that's a group event on the 30th. And it's about, again, everything's about you, right? It's about
Mhm.
looking at you as a whole being and taking you through certain steps where you can go into your 2024 as powerful as possible. Okay.
Mhm.
And then on February 10th, which is in 2024, we're having a herbal class, right? But the herbal class is coming from a different perspective, right? It's not just about learning about what burdock root is or what ginkgo biloba is and so on and so forth.
Okay.
It's about if there was a grid down scenario, okay, grid down, everything's electricity is gone, the pharmacies have been looted, okay, but you do have a cabinet full of medicine or herbs, okay. What can you actually do with that? Okay, what can you use to help to extract poison from your body? What can you use to help if you have a severe headache? Okay, what about curbing your appetite? Okay, and what about cleaning water? We have herbs. The herbs that you all buy on the website can do all of these things. Okay, and I'm showing you step by step how to do that. So this class is in person at the Meta Center, and it will be virtual as well.
And what is do you have a monetary way that people can give, like Cash Apps?
Yes.
Okay.
Cash App is $, Meta, META. Let me give you the right one. It's more to it. One moment here. I just want to make sure I give you the right one here.
I'm gonna put all this information that he's brought up in the description section of both my YouTube channel video and the Rumble video, as well as the websites, any videos we brought up, and how you can support Mr. Tony Vortex.
So it's $, Meta, META 2020.
20 what?
2020 2020.
Okay. I'm going to bring it up and you tell me if this is correct. Whoops.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So, family, if you're interested in blessing the man of God, or a man of God, our soul brother. I got a church background, Pentecostal church background.
Yeah, I accept it. I accept all of that.
Okay, and I believe in, it's a part of my value system to contribute to people who share their gifts with us. So if our soul family is interested, then you may donate to Mr. Tony Vortex by sending a Cash App at $Meta 2020. Also, you can support him by going to the Meta Center website, and we brought it up already, and you can buy some of the classes, or let's see what else. Go to some of the events, or you see here, coupon sales, new arrivals, teas, herbs, any concerns you might have, seeds, diodes, which we have to talk about that at some point. Monoatomics, magnets. Dr. Delbert Blair is the one who taught me about monoatomics and magnets, which is why I started wearing copper, fashions, and other services. So he has an array of products. He also does consultations. Do you want to say anything in summary about the consultations?
Sure. When it comes to consultations, we do offer, again, we're a community organization, right? So we offer two types, and we do understand that some people, monetary, may be an issue. So we offer free 30-minute consultations. There's a wait list for that. That's usually 30 or 45 days out, which you can book on the website. And then we offer paid 30-minute and 1-hour consultations, which you could book those on the website. And we offer a whole other slew of consultations and stuff too, depending upon what somebody's doing. Mediation, couples mediation. It just goes on and on and on. We have all of that is up there for you.
Okay, thank you so much. You have to come back because we want you to talk about history.
Yeah, so we could do that.
Okay, we'll save that for another podcast. Family, thank you all so much for joining us. I love you from the bottom of my heart and the depths of my soul. Tony, I love you so much in the work that you're doing. Thank you. Can you take us out in some type of meditation? I'm putting you on the spot, or guided meditation, or just something to help us as we go out through our day, to help us raise our vibrations and stay whole and balanced.
Sure. What I would do is I will say Dr. Delbert Blair's Universal Creator Prayer. Okay. Doctor, we send this out in every order. And Dr. Blair has been saying this for, 50, 60 something years. Okay. And it goes, we do this every day at 12 o'clock. And it goes, please, Universal Creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth in your love now. And so we do that daily. That's the Universal Creator Prayer there. And remember, everyone, don't allow stress to get you under. Don't become burdened with life's nonsense or anything like that. There is more power in you, and it can activate, and you want to help to fire up that furnace that you do have within you. Okay. And you can achieve whatever it is that you can achieve. And don't look at the world's going through all types of things, right? And even in the worst scenarios, because many of you are awakened, right? And an awakened being, no matter where you put them, is going to do awakened things. Okay? Sometimes we get so caught up with the intricacies of the here and now. Like, we want to know what we're going to do every single moment of the day. Okay.
Right.
And just really accepting that if you are an awakened being, okay, if you truly are, right, no matter where you're put, okay, no matter what world we put you in, right, no matter what space we put you in, okay, you're going to do what you do. Okay, you're going to figure it out. All right. And so I leave you with that, Kia.
So we thank you so much. You've been amazing. I appreciate you. And I'm going to give you a call at some point, or you can call me. We'll text so we can try to come up with another day, because you really blessed our soul family. We have a lot of people that are on all of our social media platforms. So thank you so much. And thank you for your final words and your prayers. I love you. I love you, soul family. Again, my name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I trust that I've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. We both love you, and we're here for you. Bye, family. Go out and make this a great day. Peace.